In a hole in the ground, there lived a habit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell and not yet dried by skin. Or, nor was it a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. Hello and welcome to day 17 of RPG A Day 2020. Today's word is comfort. Comfort. Rest. Relaxation. Take a break. In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. Because when I hear the word comfort, I think the Shire. I think that idyllic idea of just having a place to rest and relax and be in nature and be around people who you care about. And yes, many of us would like to go to Rivendell with the elves or sail across the sea, but there's just something about the Shire and comfort and rest. And since we already did rest, which is one of my problems with RPG A Day 2020, is a lot of the questions are the same question, just phrased differently. Rest and comfort are the same fucking thing, guys. So, let us address comfort. And what is one thing we associate with comfort? Comfort. Food. And we as gamers like to put food in our mouth when we're gaming, because food is a busy thing. It's something we can do with our hands. It's something we can do with our mouths. It's something we can do with our nervous energy. We're gaming and there's pizza and there's M&Ms. The two things I repeatedly notice about gamers and food. One, when gamers bring food to the game, they rarely, if ever, share with the DM. But if the DM brings food to the game, she almost always shares with the players. And I have seen this countless and countless times. I've gone over to a friend's house. Everybody's bringing pizza and hot dogs or pasta or sandwiches, but nobody says, hey, Susan, you want some pizza? I mean, that almost never happens. Gaming at the store, people bring donuts, they bring tacos, there's a big bag of burgers sitting on the table, and everybody's like, blah, 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 but nobody's like, hey, DM, you want a burger? I mean, rarely, if ever, do you see that. You bring comfort food to the game. It's an integral part of the game. The food, the drinks, the snacks, but, hardly ever do you see somebody share with the DM. So fucking, if you bought a pizza to the fucking game, share with the DM, because we get hungry. Now, second thing I notice when people bring food, especially when they bring food to a store like Seps or Endgame, is they almost never clean up after themselves. Now, when I used to, before COVID, hang out at Seps, I would be there Wednesday nights and Thursday nights, usually either to run or play or at least to help the store shut down, and I had nothing else to do. And it was close to home, so, if I was running a game, or I would just stay and hang out, and play board games and just help the guy who was closing shut down because he was usually by himself. Now, every Wednesday, there was a group of gamers, a group of very, if there is a worst example of gamers, this group was this. I mean, they were just horrible, 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 rude, loud, obnoxious, didn't really understand the game, very self-centered, and they always brought food. And I'm not just talking like M&Ms. I'm talking like big old, sandwiches from Subway. I'm talking like 2-3 pizzas. I'm talking like a box, of chicken from KFC. And they never cleaned up after themselves. Fucking rude pigs assumed that because they were in a store where none of them ever spent any money. I don't know where they got their dice or their gaming materials, but other than an occasional soda, these guys never spent money at Cess. They would sit there for 4 hours, being loud, being obnoxious, being rude, being disgusting, sitting food, and then they'd get up and leave, and there'd be bags of burgers, there'd be an open pizza box, and the worst was the KFC, because they brought a whole box of KFC, sat there eating the chicken, and then just left the bones on the table and on the floor. And inevitably, if I was there every Wednesday, I would clean up that mess after they left, so the guy who was closing the store could close the store. So that person would be counting out their register, running the receipts, checking to see if anything got shoplifted, taking out the trash. And I was there, and this is the night that sticks out most in my mind, is picking up these disgusting, slobbery, human spit all over them, Kentucky Fried Chicken bones, and cleaning off the table and the chairs and the cleaning off the mashed potato spill on the floor and bagging it all up. And I'm just like, just these guys are so disgusting. You should talk to them about the outside food. Or you know what? If they're going to bring outside food and not buy food in the store, there should be a fee. There should be a, you have to pay me an extra amount of money fee to sit at the table if you're going to bring outside food, because A, you're not sharing with anybody else in the store, and B, you made a mess and you didn't clean it up, and I am not your fucking maid. So we thought about charging them. If they brought outside food, we were going to charge them. For about 2 weeks, we charged them, but it just didn't work because they wouldn't pay. They said, oh, you know, I'll pay you later, take it out of my store credit or whatever. Or they would just step outside and eat the food and then get the mess all sort of the front of the store. And eventually, I mean, you know, the fried chicken was probably worse, but I mean, just, you know, having to clean up bags of burger and Taco Bell and, you know, grated cheese week after week after week. And finally, I just, you know, we were just like, dude, okay, these guys aren't spending any money. They're rude. They're obnoxious. They're loud. They threaten other players. They don't let people sit at the table, and they're making this mess every week. And A, they're not sharing. B, they're not spending any money in the store. And C, they're not cleaning up after themselves. And I'm sorry, it's disgusting that I have to clean up, you know, fried chicken vomit and, you know, Taco Bell cottage cheese and, you know, cookie crumbs all over the floor and the table every Wednesday. Kick them out. Kick them out, dude. If they're not spending money, if they're not making you money, if they're bringing outside food, if they're not paying for the privilege to sit at that table, they're not doing anything for the store, so kick them out. Comfort food is very important to the game. It's an integral part of the game. But one, you should share it with everybody at the table or don't bring it. And two, clean the fuck up after yourselves, you rude motherfuckers. If you make a mess at the DM's table, especially at a store, spend the 5 extra minutes to clean it up. So eventually, we just pretty much told these guys, dude, you're not welcome here. If you're not going to clean up after yourselves, then go home. And for a while, we didn't see any of them. Slowly, for surely, they came back in 1 or 2 at a time. They tried to sit at other people's games. They tried to instigate the same behavior, and it just wasn't allowed. It's like, dude, you're not paying any money, and you're leaving this mess. So this behavior either changes because I'm not your mother, or you can turn around and leave again. So the moral of the story is comfort food, important. Cleaning up after yourselves, much more important. If you're going to bring food to the game, if you're going to bring food to especially a store, if you're going to especially bring something like Kentucky Fried Chicken or Taco Bell or a pizza or In-N-Out or something, or a fucking cake, and just leave this mess and then expect the store to clean up after you and you didn't spend any money in the store, no, that stops. If we start hanging out at game stores again and you bring in food, one, share it with the people who run the store, and two, clean the fuck up after yourselves. And that is my take on the word comfort and comfort food. Because Bilbo might have eaten 7 meals a day, but he always cleaned up after himself and he always shared. And there was always room at his table for tea. Because Bilbo hated mess, and I hate cleaning up after you. I know 4-year-olds were cleaner than those kids. I'll talk to you later.